Hi everybody, and welcome to Traveling with Russell, and welcome to a new video, and welcome to Traveling with Russell, not in Moscow. I'm in the town of Oryol, which is about 350 kilometers from Moscow, and I've come to share a secret with everybody that Belarus is taking over the Russian supermarket trade, and I've come to a supermarket grand opening today. Let's go check it out together. The way I've actually filmed this video is a little bit out of sequence, but as you're watching it, it's all now in the right timeline, because I literally got to the store less than 10 minutes before the grand opening. So I'm now filming the start at the end and the end at the start, and I'm here at Rio Shopping Center in Oryol, and I'm actually here for a supermarket opening. And I was fortunate enough to come along today to see it, and I want to show you it and share with you the excitement of a brand new supermarket, the newest one in Russia. And the secret is, it's not Russian owned. So before we get to the next part of the video, I just want to talk about this shopping center, Rio, and its anchor tenant was a supermarket called Carousel. And they got bought out by another company a few years back. And about 2 years ago, they closed this store and left. Pretty much all the carousels across Russia closed within the same week. And it left this shopping center without an anchor tenant. And actually in this corridor I'm walking here, there's actually also a lot of stores that essentially left at the same time as well, because they just knew there wasn't going to be any traffic in this shopping center. And then today, Chesnok has arrived from Belarus to come and take over Russia, one store at a time. I will talk about that in the video. And the excitement about a new store opening in Oryol, and especially a big full-line supermarket, which is just so nice. If you live here and you didn't have a supermarket to come to for 2 years, now is your chance. So I've just walked in the shopping center. I've never been here before. I've literally just turned on the camera and have a look at how many people are here. I've not actually been in the store whatsoever, and this is really something. They've actually even got the gates down on the store as well, so we can't even get inside. Whoa, this is a lot of people. For a supermarket opening in Russia. What a day to do it on Victory Day in Russia as well. So I will be giving you a bit more of a walk around of the store once it's open. Now I understand it's around about 10 minutes until the opening. They've even got a DJ here with a microphone. They've got some music playing. They've got fairy floss, I think, for the kids. And the excitement. This is just insane. Now, I just came from Lipetsk from the opening of the store this morning. So we've just driven from Lipetsk to Oryol for this, and I've got out the car and it's like I've woken up in a different town. Well, I am. Chesnok, right there. Garlic to everybody who can't read Russian Cyrillic. So there is quite a lot of music in the background, so I have to avoid that a little bit. And then the gentleman here's doing the countdown. So we even got a giveaway as well for a supermarket. Have a look, how many people. I think I've mentioned this quite a few times before, that the richest man in all of Russia, the richest man in Russia, is the guy that sells balloons for all the store openings, because they love balloons at company openings and store openings. And this, I need to find this guy, whoever he is. He's probably living on a tropical island in the Maldives, I think. So we're getting a little bit of behind the scenes access here, and the staff are taking a team photo. So all the people that'll be working here, and then the management and the people from the office. And the reason they've got a cake is this is the 25th store for Chesnok. So this is quite a big deal to get half a century. Thumbs up. And everybody is happy that this store will open in a few minutes, and the crowds will be streaming in. So they will actually have a ribbon cutting, and they've got the gold scissors right there. Everybody waiting to come in. So this is the head of operations who's doing the ribbon cutting, thanking everybody for coming and wishing them a happy Victory Day, because today is a very momentous holiday in Russia. Everybody is ready to come in. You know, it's exciting when even the staff are taking photos and videos. And they've got a lot of shopping baskets ready to go, and people are going to be coming in very soon. Let's see. So literally I haven't walked in the store. We just got out of the car, we just got here, and they're probably getting a little bit anxious to get in and come shopping now. Wow. And then the master of ceremonies taking over. And a few people doing some speeches now. Whoa, and the trumpets start playing, and they're ready. This is really a big deal. All right. The kids are rushing in before even the parents. Just jump out the way for a second. So if you're really curious what shopping in Russia is all about, and especially today on the first day of an opening of a store, and this is very big deal for this company to open their 25th store. And I think if I base on how everybody was shopping in Lipetsk today, I think everyone's going to be wanting this pork right here, because they've got some nice deals, and the shopping trolleys are disappearing really fast. This is a very big store, so there's a lot of places to get around and have a look at. Some meat and cheese, and then the rest of the store I'll try to cover once the crowds die out a little bit. Of course, there isn't really too many people at the checkout just yet. There's a young child there. I think he bought some candy or something like that. Maybe he knows he can only get in this store. And everybody is still streaming in. There was a lot of people in the corridor of the store and out in the actual main part of the shopping center, so it's going to be very interesting. People are really all going for the baskets. Wow. Come on, this is really cool. And within literally a couple of minutes, all the baskets and trolleys are finished. There is literally a couple left. Of course, everybody's in the store shopping, so it's natural that's going to happen right as it opens. Wow. So what I think I'll do is I'll just go for a brief walk around with you together and have a look at the store myself. I wasn't able to come into the store more than a couple of minutes before the opening, because it was quite a distance to drive to get here, and the grand opening was within minutes of getting out of the car. Everybody's so happy to come shopping in Russia's newest supermarket. How big is the place? It goes all the way back. This is a big store. Wow. And of course there is different signs letting you know which area of the store you're in. So personal care, household goods, cleaning. And then I think somewhere at the back we'll get to the refrigerated area. Everybody wants all the stuff for their house. I think there's some different things perhaps that a lot of people haven't seen before, because a vast majority of the items in here are from Belarus, and not particularly many items as a whole store from Russia. And I'm going to show you that in a little more detail once we get around a half a lap of the store. Let's kind of be polite about it as I move around. And this is something as well that's very well known for this store brand, is this pallet style shopping. You know, it just simplifies how everything needs to be put on the shelf and laid out. Put pallets, put a sign on the product, and you're all good. Now I know that the favorite part of this store is actually where the refrigerated food is at the back. So things like dairy products, salamis, cheese, hams, milk. So once we can kind of get back there, we'll get a bit of an idea of how it looks. Now, all the aisles are full with people. I think everybody, of course, wants certain things that just weren't available at this shopping center and at this area before. It's actually a little bit of traffic here. This is like the Market in Moscow. Wow, let me try to be polite and scooch by everybody. This is where all the baskets are back here, I think, as I'm trying to get around. Oh, big bag of cheese puffs. Very nice. Have a look at all the candy here and all the snacks. Let me see if I can get around to the fridges. Naturally, lots of people are going to look around at me as I'm filming. I think perhaps I'm the only Western, non-Russian, non-Belarusian that's here. I'm sure for certain that this is the only video on YouTube showing the newest supermarket in all of Russia, and how Belarus is coming to take over the Russian supermarket trade. Now, the way they've got all of their dairy products is quite unique. Rather than having traditional fridges with glass doors, they've got it in a cool room like this. And the only thing, like on a day like today, there's a bit of a queue to get in there. Naturally, a few hours from now, it'll calm down a little bit. But there's a lot of people that have been waiting a long time to get in here and come shopping. And a few people have resurfacing with products. It's a little bit hectic. Hello. But it's all part of the fun of shopping on the first day in the newest supermarket in Russia. I've got to say it over and over because I think it's quite important for everybody to understand that there is food on the shelves, there is people spending money. Now, of course, today it's a little bit more difficult to be able to grab what you want. However, you know, this is it. This is what we signed up for coming to the opening of the store. Let me see if I can get my way inside. I'll just be super polite and jump out the way. I don't want to edit too much of what I'm showing you here, so let's get in and try and get through and get out the other end, hopefully. Now, I will talk about this and explain about why there is such excitement around these stores opening, and I'm going to say commotion is the right word in English, and especially for everybody to find things they haven't seen before and shop like they haven't been to a supermarket since yesterday. What I think I'll do is get out of the fridge and get into the normal part of the supermarket, because I think I'm blocking a few people in. Everybody wants salami and meats and different types of hams. Perhaps not everybody wants yogurt, but I think these meats are the wanted item. Let me see if I can get out of here. There's some cheese here also. Where is the exit? I really hope this is a good insight into how everybody loves supermarket shopping in Russia, loves to come to a supermarket opening as well, and especially the uniqueness of this store versus other supermarkets perhaps in this area or in other parts of Russia. Oh, we've reached a nice big wide open space here in the middle, and it looks like a gentleman's lost his other half, so he's just standing steady in the middle of the store so he can hopefully find her. Again, these pallets, we're going to see them everywhere in the video, and I'll point out a few different unique things. All of the Lay's chips here, and just drinks galore until you can't even see. So now that I've taken a breath and got back outside and out of the pandemonium that was that refrigerated section at the back, I thought I'd take you for a bit of a slower walkthrough and show you a couple of things that are quite unique about this chain of stores, and it will make a lot of sense. Now, the one thing that's in the title is that Belarus is taking over the Russian supermarket trade at one store at a time. Chesnok, as the word says there. Now, in the English translation, it means garlic, and you can actually see the garlic symbol right there, and you're going to see a lot of purple as well, which is their store colors. And Ches, and then OK is honest OK, which is really referring to the fact that they've got honest low prices all the time. And let's go on inside and let me show you. Now have a look here. No baskets, and there's people waiting to get baskets, which is kind of a little bit hectic. And of course now already the lines have started to form down the corridor here to pay and check out. So the reason, well, the main reason why there is a lot of people here, of course, a new supermarket. That's understandable. Now, the Chesnok chain, this is the 25th store that's opened in Russia today, and they've actually opened 3 stores in 3 days. So they're literally taking over one city at a time in Russia. And this is kind of a secret in a way, in that there's not really a lot of fanfare. You know, the stores are opening. Okay, today, of course, they had the cake cutting because it was an anniversary of how many stores they're opening. But the one thing that separates this chain of stores to others throughout all of Russia is the fact that they have predominantly Belarus-produced products. And through the whole store, it's around about 65% of the products that are actually from Belarus. And I will try to show this a little bit more in detail. So if you have a look at the sign right here, so this is dishwashing liquid, which is pretty common anywhere you go shopping. And if you have a look at the sign right here, so 62 rubles. Now, where I do quote prices, I'm just going to go straight to dollars, and roughly 100 is $1. So 62 cents for a fairly big bottle of washing up liquid. And this has the Belarus flag right here. And where the items are made in Belarus, they've got it right on the sign. They've also got the country of origin right here, so Belarus. Then if you have a look at the next few things in a row, you should start seeing that Belarus flag. Now we will see it a little bit more on some of the other shelves. And if we just want to compare the difference right here, so there's a couple more right next to it. And there's one again for 62 cents. And then right on about 70 cents is the Russian branded washing up liquid. Now I'm just using one example here, and there's quite a lot that I could sort of show you across the whole store. This is pretty much all the cleaning things right here. I also want to show you some of the other country flags or countries of origin, because that might be quite interesting as well. If you go to any normal Russian typical supermarket, you're looking at around about 5 or maybe 10% of the goods in the store being from Belarus, and here 65%. So the trucks are literally coming from Belarus straight over the border and straight into Russia, and then going straight on the shelves. Have a look at how much toilet roll they've got. They've got some fairly big stacks of it, and there's quite a lot of choices too. It's not just 1 or 2 items. There is 5 or 7 different choices of toilet roll, and depending on which brand you like or which type you like, there is a lot to pick from. Now on the shelf tags, they've actually got flags right here saying proudly from Belarus and from love from Belarus, and they've just got it only on the Belarus produced products. So there is going to be a bit of a mix of Russian goods with the Belarus goods as you walk around as well. So a lot of people will definitely recognize a lot of the brands, and then other people who may be shopping in this chain of stores for the first time will have never seen some of these Belarus items because they're exclusively here in Chesnok. So here we've got baby nappies, and I think a lot of people call them diapers. And again, that Belarus flag right on the product. And $5 for a 44 pack. I think that sounds pretty cheap. If somebody wants to maybe correct me and that they're paying a lower price somewhere else. So as you walk around, there's lots of different slogans saying about Chesnok is okay, great prices, and low prices all the time, which I think that's fairly apparent by the amount of people in here who are literally filling their baskets. I do want to give a big shout out to a few YouTube subscribers and Telegram subscribers who have met me in the store and said hello. I did actually post on Telegram that I was coming here earlier on today, and I would imagine people who live in the area literally just came up to me and wanted to take a photo, say hello, and thank you so much if you're watching the video. It's so nice to meet subscribers. If you see me anywhere in public, please say hello, stop me, whatever I'm doing, and have a chat. One thing, on top of a lot of things that I'm going to explain, that sets this store apart is the fact that they've got a lot of products that left Russia. So Pepsi left Russia, and they've had a fairly serious rebranding, and you can't get it commonly in most supermarkets. Have a look at how many pallets they've got here of the Pepsi, and this comes right from the Pepsi factory in Belarus and brought straight across the border, because it can be, and sold right here in a Russian secret supermarket. Miranda. I think a lot of people would compare this with Fanta as a Coca-Cola product, and $1 a bottle, which is very inexpensive. I couldn't not include Coca-Cola in the video, and the fact that they've got pallets of it also. And this Coca-Cola is actually from Poland. So it's come across from Poland into Belarus and then straight across here into Russia. And there's a good stack of it. And the one thing as well, this is 75 cents a can, 75 rubles. Now if you were to buy this in most shops in Moscow, you're looking at 100 to 130 rubles. And it would be the same can, literally. We're just paying a little bit of a luxury because we're shopping in a Russian store and it's considered imported. But here in Chesnok, no problems at all. I did have a little bit of a plan of finding some unique items and try to find things that are not from Russia, because I show that in a lot of supermarket videos. And they've got the dishwasher pods right here. I think a lot of people maybe know this brand, Oryol. And $20. I know they're not cheap no matter where you buy them these days. And these are from Romania. Romanian dishwashing pods. That's very interesting. There's also some shampoo here. It's called Amalfi. Now everyone would think that's from Italy. And then if you look at the sign, it's actually from Spain. So we've got Spanish shampoo. There's actually the flag on the back right here, and even the EU logo as well. That's very interesting. Now, of course, you could probably read this from the box. There's actually Spanish writing on there. If you were to look at the barcode, you can actually find the country of origin on the side as well. What they've done with all the signage is they've got all the different countries represented. And you can see here Poland, and then there's actually even something here from China as well. I think this is some, perhaps, sanitizer. There's a fair bit of Chinese writing. It's actually toothpaste, look at that, in English. So there's quite a variety of things in here that are not necessarily from where we all think they're from. You really can see just how big this place is now when I'm at the back of the store. It's quietened down quite a fair bit. Most of the people that came in on that first rush are now trying to manage their way through the checkouts. Naturally, there's going to be a bit of a line as everyone's trying to get out of here. Lots of pallets of water, again from Belarus. Lots of signage to tell us that as well. Now I think it's definitely interesting, all the shoppers here who perhaps know Belarus products, and then perhaps they're walking in for the first time and are discovering things that they just haven't seen before, and especially based on their previous supermarkets where they've shopped in this town where we are today. It's very fascinating. Of course, we can't get away from Oreos, and Oreos that you see in Russia are made in Russia. So the brand Mondelez is still producing products in Russia, not a problem. One of my wife's favorite things is Nutella. And they've got some of the jars of it here. They've got the big 3-kilo one also. This is quite interesting. These are all made in Turkey and then brought into Russia. Most of the things that are not Russian produced are coming through Belarus to get here. And that's how a lot of the sanctions and a lot of the parallel importing happens, because it's able to be brought through a third or fourth country to eventually get here. Cookies in a box. These are very good. And have a look. $1, $2 for big boxes of cookies. So if it seems like I'm excited, I really am. Of course, while I was in Australia for the COVID situation, I worked in supermarkets, and I did that for about 2 years after coming off cruise ships. And this became my life after I was working in retail on the ships. So coming back into supermarkets and seeing this and seeing what's possible, and these stores that are creeping into Russia and taking over just one town at a time across Russia. It's just interesting, and that's why I'm just happy to see this and to see people here shopping and being able to find things cheaper than you can find even at the next local Russian supermarket. I do have a question for everybody about seeing so many Belarus produced products. Have you tried something from Belarus before? Perhaps you have a favorite product or something that I should know about and I should be buying to take home today. My wife has already got a bit of a small shopping list for me of things that she wants that she knows we can't easily get in the town where we live in Moscow region. So it'll be interesting how heavy my bag is going back on the train to Moscow. I do get a lot of flack in the comments sometimes about me showing products in Russia that have got similar names, or they've changed the names of stores. But there's a Turkish brand of candy here called Oryol. It looks very much like Raffaello. So even the Turkish are doing it. It's not just doing it here in Russia by changing the names. Oryol. It's very interesting. And then again, all of these Belarus chocolates and just different things that I don't see at my local shop all the time. And even when I go to some of the bigger hypermarkets, they're not all in the shops, even in Moscow. I made it all the way down to the back corner to where the fridges are. And the crowd has died down a little bit now. Most people are in line to get through for payment to get out of here. Now this store does have a little bit of fruit and vegetables. It's not the main part of the store like a lot of supermarkets are. They've just got literally a few boxes of each. It allows people to do their full shopping in one store then and, you know, grab what you need. Now in this refrigerated section, which I found a little bit difficult to film before, this is where Belarus comes right to the front. And you're going to see pretty much on every shelf the Made with Love in Belarus signs right there. And then you're going to see these header cards on the prices. This is some chocolate pudding, and there's some jellies right there, and all of the Belarus signs. Now again, you can read it on the signs as well, so you can actually have a look at any product in the store, the country of origin. So Belarus milk right here in provincial Russia. It's very hard for me to not say Moscow because I'm not anywhere near Moscow. It's about a 4-hour drive to get back to my house from here. So you can see all of these Belarus items. So there's quite a bit of a mix of things here. There's yogurts, cottage cheese. There's a lot of meats and salamis. And I think also the prices are pretty good as well. And that's a big draw to why people like this store chain, or will like it once they've discovered it. You can see lots of snacks for children. Again, all from Belarus. And then we come over to this salami section with the fan blowing in here. There's that distinct smell of salami and meat. And it's very, very noticeable. And it's like going into a perfume shop and you get that smell of perfume. You come in the fridge here and you can smell that meat. It's very, very tempting. There's a lot of nice products in the store. It's definitely become a little bit easier to navigate. I'm not a huge salami fan. My wife loves it. And my mum back in Australia, she would be going nuts right now, especially for these bigger sausages. My mum was originally, well, her parents are originally from Poland, and part of that Eastern European culture, you know, to eat salamis and meats and sausages. And she'd be very unhappy watching this part of the video. I think once I've walked around this whole refrigerated section, I'd say about 80 or 90% of the things in this section is all from Belarus. And maybe just the vegetables, I think I notice, are mostly from Russia, depending on the different type of vegetable they've got here, of course. It makes you look now twice at the signs of where things are manufactured. Now, I definitely do it a lot living here in Russia because of all the sanctions that forced or companies chose to leave, and other companies have replaced them, like this shopping center and this supermarket. You know, this Belarus chain is taking over slowly in Russia, and this is something that's just not on the news. You know, it's not on a YouTube video until today. Because I knew I was going to be inside in the shopping center, I don't have my jacket on today. I've just got a short sleeve shirt on, and it's a little bit cold filming in there. So it's good to get back out now and keep the walk around going. There's some more Turkish biscuits. So I'm not going to show the whole video of just Belarus products. We can definitely see them quite clearly as I've walked around. But it's definitely interesting to look at the country of origin on the products, and then discover that they're from countries maybe that we wouldn't think they're from necessarily. I'm getting back to a little bit more traffic as I get towards the entrance of the store again. All of the teas, and there's a few different Russian brands here, and I really want to find the Italian ones because there should be some Italian coffee somewhere. I think I found the Italian brand Lavazza. I think I'm pronouncing it wrong. Lots of people love to correct me, that's completely fine. $4 for a block of Italian coffee right here in Moscow. No need to get on a plane and go to Italy when Italy comes right to Russia for us. In my quest to find things from different countries, there's actually some German washing powder, and it's a big box, 6 kilos for just about $11. Now this is actually probably hard to even carry to the car. And right here on the side, there we go, German made in the EU. I like how they have that. They definitely want to tell you that it's made in the European Union somewhere. It's just interesting as I look closer at these different countries of manufacturing. So I need everybody in the comments to let me know what they're paying for washing powder where they live. My wife does most of that type of shopping because I always get the wrong flavor or smell, and she's given up telling me now to bring some home. But $5, $4, I think most of the normal size packaging is under $5, no matter which brand. I think the only one that I know outside of Russia is Tide. This one right here, 2.5 kilos for right about $4. This one's actually made in Russia as well. Is anybody a fan of caramel popcorn? This is actually something I really like. I buy it at a local shop where I live in Moscow. I think for $1.50 I might have to give one of these a try and see how it is. They've just got these big pallets of popcorn. Now it makes me want to go to the movies. They do have a little bit of frozen items here as well. Not too much, mostly seafood actually. And there's canned meats. And I want to show you the different way in Belarus that they've got their tomato sauce, or I think a lot of people will call it ketchup. Now in Russia, very typically they're in these pouches with this screw top lid on. And you can see here the Russian Heinz, the big packaging for $1.30. And there's a few other flavors. A lot of the ketchups that you get in Russia are mostly for using when you make barbecues and use it as a sauce when you have sausages or meat. So they tend to let you know on the packaging what's really the better way to use it. Now this is the Belarus one. Now somebody that's from Belarus or perhaps Russia can let me know, is this some unique thing on how you would buy ketchup? So you get a pouch of it and you're only paying 60 cents for Belarus tomato sauce. If I've got any Australian fans watching and you're AFL supporters, there's Docker's potato chips. And the colour is actually also the same club colours back in Australia. Now these are Belarus made chips, but Docker's potato chips. Let me know if you're a fan of the Fremantle Dockers. I think a lot of people have seen me wear my purple shirt in a lot of videos, so you know I'm definitely a fan of them. Now I want to know what everybody's paying for flour where you live. Now this is actually made in Russia. This is a very well-known brand of flour as well. It's $1 for a 2-kilo pack of flour. Now how does that compare to where you live? Now of course there's a lot of factors comparing Russia and other regions around the world. You know, a lot of people will say about salaries and the cost of living, which I completely understand. But $1 for a 2-kilo bag of flour, I think it's pretty cheap. They also have a fairly small bakery section. They actually do make all the bread in these containers in the back. It's a little bit hard to spot, but they've got the actual ovens back there where they make their own bread in store. And all of these actually come from Belarus to Russia. So all of the ingredients, essentially. This is nice as well. If you come in the last couple of hours of the day, they want to sell off the last items at a reduced price, which is a bit of a bonus. This store has a small alcohol section. It's actually quite big, but it's limited just to beer. And there's no wine or spirits. It's a lot easier to open the store, not having to get additional approvals for things, but lots of beers to choose from. And lots of Belarus beers as well. So maybe a lot of locals maybe don't know some of these. The price is definitely good. Fairly well, every beer on the shelf is less than $1. So you can get very inexpensive beers. 85 cents, 90 cents. There's one over here for 70 cents as well. So it's just a matter of taking a few different types. The one thing that I've shown a few times is that alcohol or beer in Russia is sold individually. So you can get yourself a couple of different choices. You're not restricted to getting a whole case of beer, which is always nice. As I slowly make my way out of the store, the lines, I think, are really not going to end for quite some time. There's people still coming in, and there's very long lines at the registers. That's what's going to happen. I mean, it's a great thing to see. Everybody's happy and they found something new and different, and hopefully they're going to go home today, enjoy it, and then be back for more at some point. As I head on out of the store, I really hope you found this video interesting. And I know I thanked a couple of subscribers earlier, and as I've been walking around now, back at the entrance of the store and then walking out, I think I've met about 20 channel subscribers here in Oryol, which is just fantastic. Again, I love meeting you and taking photos, and I post them on my Telegram channel as well. So thanks for saying hello and chatting. No matter who you are, please come up to me and say hello. Now, as I make my way out, now I've never been here before, literally, so I need to find where I'm gonna be heading on home from here. I really hope you've enjoyed this insight into Russian supermarkets, which of course we're in Russia, but the store you saw was a Belarus chain of supermarkets that are secretly taking over Russia. And one store at a time, they're just coming into different cities and opening stores and taking advantage, of course, of other stores leaving and vacating premises like this. You could see how big the actual store was. I think about 2,000 square meters, and they've got 3,500 products. I'm trying to remember some of the things the nice lady let me know inside the store. So I think this is interesting. Maybe in Western media, they're showing you a different side of Russian retail. And we come into this shopping center and come to this store today, and even the car park as well. They were telling me yesterday there was hardly any cars in the car park, and today it's about 3/4 full. Now, of course, today being a holiday in Russia, a lot of people maybe not coming out to the shopping center. They're going to stay home, or they're going to meet with family to honor Victory Day in Russia. So a lot of people will come here, I think, through word of mouth. Maybe you're watching the video and you're going to be shopping. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. I've done this a little bit out of sequence to how I normally film my videos, but I was under a bit of a time crunch after I arrived to get to the opening and make sure I got all of the important parts of the store opening. Let me know in the comments if you like this video. I think I've mentioned that before. If you want to join me on Telegram, I think lots of new subscribers today, and especially people that noticed I was filming as well. So thanks for asking what video I'm making. If you want to watch an old video on the channel, you can click a link right here to something you haven't seen before. As I actually walk towards the Russian McDonald's, maybe you want to watch a review of Kuzni и Точка. It's coming up right now. Thanks everybody from the town of Oryol in provincial Russia. Bye.